We're going to go ahead and get started. I know your time is valuable and it's 7 o'clock and I want to be able to give you a lot of information tonight. So we're going to go through things fairly quickly. There will be times that there will be question periods that you can ask questions. I encourage you, if you have questions we're going through, to jot it down quickly on one of these mini handouts that you have. And then when it comes to the question time, we can ask questions, because a lot of your questions I may actually cover as we're going through the presentation. We welcome you to the International Baccalaureate program here at Hillcrest. We have 3 different classifications of students that are here.
There wasn't a folder out there.
Have Mrs. Kilby look for you out there, because if you're on the database, you should have a folder out there. So she can help you find it if you need to. This is what's called the sophomore orientation or sophomore induction. And this is to make sure that you are as clear as possible on some of the things that we have that we're going through and experiencing, what your students will be experiencing over the next little while. Our agenda for tonight is we're going to go talk about what the IB program is here at Hillcrest and what the IB program is at Hillcrest, the IB courses that are available, the full diploma program, the full career program, the service learning and service activities that students are required to do as part of the full programs, what the disclosure says, the beginning assignment for kids, fees, and then why students want to go through this program. This folder contains a lot of handouts that will help, that I'll be referring to, that you can also learn and understand what is going on with the program with that. I apologize for sitting during the presentation, but that's what my health tells me I'm going to do, so that's what I'm going to do, so that you know. The IB mission statement is listed in several places in our materials, but is the International Baccalaureate aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. To this end, the organization works with schools, governments, and international organizations to develop challenging programs of international education and rigorous assessment. These programs encourage students across the world to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners who understand that other people with their differences can also be right. This is truly an international program. It's in over 140 countries worldwide, serving over 1 million students in those countries. So it truly is an international diploma, international baccalaureate. The Hillcrest High School mission statement is up here too. I'm not going to go over this, but if you look at the different things that Hillcrest wants to see your students succeed, you will see a good correlation between those two things. The biggest, most encompassing element of IB that can help it understand what they're trying to do to help your students is what's called the IB Learner Profile. And I just have a short video that talks about the learner profile that I'm going to play for you. The learner profile is a series of 10 qualities that IB feels are very important to develop in each student. To be inquirers, knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, caring, risk-takers, balanced, and reflective. Qualities I think that any of us would be more than happy to see developed in our children. And that's the main thrust of the program as they progress through these 4 years. Now you're going to see a lot of different classifications in IB, and I'm just going to give you quickly what some of those are. The IB program started with the Diploma Program and it's since expanded to many different types of programs. There is a primary years program that is available at Providence Hall. There's a middle years program that's available at Channing Hall, Providence Hall, and at Midvale Middle and at Hawthorne. And then there's the Diploma Program, which is a secondary program that we have here. And then there's the career-related program, which is the other secondary program that we have here at Hillcrest. In each of these areas, the full secondary program is offered here at Hillcrest, which includes students who take IB individual courses. They're called course students. Students who are involved in the full diploma program, abbreviated by DP, and students who are involved in the full career-related program. Now, your students will fall into these different categories and classifications based on what they are wanting to do. And if you open up this first handout, general information and regulations and fee schedule, we're talking about what's in Roman numeral 1 here. All of your students next year will be classified as anticipated. That means that they're anticipated to complete some IB courses or the full program. Now they are either anticipated course students, and they will be then classified as course students their senior year, or they're anticipated diploma candidates, and they'll be classified as diploma candidates their senior year, or they're anticipated career candidates if they're going into the career program, and they'll be career program students next year. So on the printouts that I send to you at the top of page, the last page, you will always see what the classification is based on what they've told me and what they're registered for. So those are the classifications that you will see, and when I say you're anticipated and you're an anticipated career program student, it means you're a junior heading to finish the career program by the end of your senior year. Or you're an anticipated course student, you're going through just individual courses. We're going to talk about the courses first in IB, and you've seen this quite a bit, but I just want to review some of this with you so that you understand again. The courses in IB are divided into 6 different areas or groups. Language A, which in the United States it's always the mother tongue of the country, so it's English here in the United States. Language B, which is a world language, individuals and societies, what we call social studies, science, mathematics, and the arts. Now again, if you look in your general information IB program, what I'm going to talk about here goes into a little bit more detail in Roman number 2. But this hopefully will help you understand how the courses are built. Every single course, except for art history, is offered on at least 2 levels. First level is standard level, that equates to 150 teaching hours, can be accomplished in 1 year with the proper prerequisites, or a higher level, which must be done over the course of 2 years. It's 240 teaching hours, goes more in depth in the subject, and that's why it's called higher level. They're abbreviated as SL or HL. Now group 2, world languages, and group 5, mathematics, have 4 levels each. We also have 3 exceptions to the standard level can be done in 1 year rule. English has to be done in 2 years, history has to be done in 2 years, and the language ab initio, or from the beginning level, has to be done in 2 years. So it would involve both junior and senior year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, in each one of these courses, you have to get out of the AP mindset. AP mindset is, I'm going to take a class, then I can decide and take the tests. That's not the way it works in IB. When you sign up for an IB course, you sign up for the whole thing. And there are more than one assessment. And rather than say tests, you'll hear me refer to these as assessments much more than tests. There are 2 classifications of assessments: internal assessments and external assessments. Internal assessments are graded by your teacher here at Hillcrest. They are assignments that you do here at Hillcrest that are graded by your teachers. The IB then requests a sample of those assignments with the grades that the teacher is given that we send all over the world, and we have some that are sent to teachers here that are examiners here at Hillcrest, that then those teachers will moderate to make sure that those grades are happening the same all over the world, so that everybody is graded the same. Those are the internal assessments, moderated on an international level. There are also external assessments for every single course. These involve other papers or projects that are assigned and worked on through your class here, but are not graded at Hillcrest. Those particular assignments are sent out to be graded, all of them, for the whole class, to be graded internationally. That's why they're called external assessments, because they're graded externally. One of the best classifications of an external assessment are the final exams. Now in IB, the IB refers to them as final papers, not final exams, so that you know what those are. You only do those at the end of the course. So if you're doing a standard level course that you're going to be doing over the course of 2 years, you don't take those final papers or sit those final exams until the end of the 2 years. If you're doing it in 1 year, you do it at the end of 1 year. If you're doing higher level, you'll sit those exams at the end of your senior year. Okay? These are anywhere from 1 to 3 exams. There's only one area that has one exam, and it's music. But the exam that those kids have to sit is 2.5 hours. So it's a long exam. But usually it's more than one, anywhere from 1 to 3. And then they are sent out and graded on an international level. So they're technically also external assessments, but they're the final external assessments. The only ones that do not have exams are theater, dance, and visual arts. And those 3 areas, all of the assessment is done through those projects and internal assessments. There are still 4 to 5 that they have to send in, but they don't have to sit an exam at the end. Okay? Now, how are these courses graded? First of all, you're going to receive a class grade. A to F, just like every other class grade that you have. It's based on class requirements outlined by the teacher and IB disclosure requirements. But again, remember that your internal and external assessments are going to go towards that grade. You can't say, oh, I'm not testing this year, so I don't have to do those. No, if your teacher requires you to do them, they're part of your grade. And they're also according to the IB disclosure requirements that we'll go over later. Secondly, when you finish the course, you will be graded with an international grade of 1 to 7. That is based on how you've done on each one of those assessments that you've been graded on. And they count different percentages based on what course you're taking. So if you want to know the exact percentage of those, you talk to your teacher, and they can tell you what those are. Extended essay, the reflective project, the theory of knowledge, and the personal professional skills classes are actually assigned letter grades, and those letter grades are also included on your transcript. It's an interesting thing about the extended essay and the reflective project. It's one of the only single projects that will actually be reflected as a grade on your transcript. So it's something that you need to take seriously. Now, this particular handout goes through several different ways that you can go through a series of courses over the 2 years. What I want you to make sure that you understand, you can go over this on your own, but if you look at 2E, your possible pathways. You could do SL1 your junior year, SL2 your senior year. SL1 your junior year, HL2 your senior year. HL1 your junior year, HL2 your senior year. Or HL1 your junior year, I don't want to test higher level, this is way too hard. SL2 your senior year. Those are possible different pathways. Now the 2s and 1s, what do they mean? Don't worry about it. 1s, HL1s and SL1s means it's a year you're taking a class that you're not going to test. You're not going to finish during that 1 year. A 2 indicates you are finishing during that year. Okay? That's so that the state can pull accurate statistics of our students, who is testing and what grades they got and how it worked. So when you see 1s and 2s, if you see a 1 and you're thinking, well, I was going to test in May, tell me. Because I need to make sure that we change the name to be a 2. If you see a 2 and say, I'm not testing till next year, tell me. So I can make sure that it says a 1. But you can go SLSL, SLHL, HLSL, depending, or just SL for 1 year, depending upon what your plan is and what your pathway is. Now, each one of the classes, I just want you to remember, I'm going to go through this quickly. This is gone through in detail on the suggested tracks in the 6 IB curriculum areas. It shows that this one shows the English track. This will fulfill all of your graduation requirements for English. You don't need to worry about taking any extra courses to fulfill English. Your language, foreign language, depends upon where you are in your foreign language so far if you're doing a foreign language course. If you're doing the ab initio, remember that that takes both years. You cannot finish that in 1 year. It is a standard level course, but it takes both years, taking you from level 1 to level 4. Standard level, higher level pathways, again, depending upon how you are or where you are in the spectrum. You cannot skip a level unless you take it during the summer. For example, I know that University of Utah offers at least Spanish 1, 2, and 3, and may even not offer Spanish 4 over the summer. We've had kids take it over the summer and then be able to skip from this to this because they've done this over the summer. So that's something that you can investigate and do. History is the third area that you must take for both years, as long as you're on track. And if you've done what we've asked you to, which is take government this year instead of World Civ, then you're not going to have to take any extra classes in order to finish out history on the higher level for IB. And both with English and history, even though you have to take all 4 years, you can't do it as an SL student next year. You can still choose whether you want to be tested standard level or higher level at the end of your senior year. You're not required to do it higher level, but you will be prepared for it if you want to. Okay? And these 2 classes you've done here and these 2 IB classes will take care of all 5 of the classes you need to graduate, fulfill your social studies requirement for graduation from Canyon School District. Okay? We also offer in this area art history, psychology, and it says IB Business Management at the bottom, and I don't know why it's cut off, but it is. So, but it's those 3 are also available that can fulfill an Area 3. Area 4, science. If you've taken biology and chemistry, you are prepared for any of the IB sciences, as long as your math requirements are up there ready to go. Again, the sciences count for graduation, so your IB science next year, for almost all of you, will fulfill all of your science requirements. And you can choose to go on to higher level your senior year if you choose. Math. Math is more linear. Pretty much where you are here, where it says 10th grade, dictates where you're going to go in math. And you can choose to go on all the way to higher level if you're in one of these 2 tracks right here. But that depends on where you are in math and what you have done. Now again, there are more and more classes offered in the summer, both through Canyon's Virtual High School and through the University of Utah, that you can skip a level if you want to. I'm pretty sure that the University of Utah offers secondary math 1, 2, and 3 and secondary math honors 1, 2, and 3. So if you wanted to do an intense course over the summer to skip a level and move ahead to be able to go further in math, that's fine. But remember, we offer all 3 of those math levels of math studies, which is, after secondary math 3, is like pre-calculus, math standard level, which is kind of like calculus AB, and math higher level. Okay? The arts classes here at Hillcrest, all of our arts count for arts requirements for the graduation, as do all the other IB classes. And you have to have 1.5 years of arts, and any of these will count. Please remember, we offer the full performing arts and the visual arts, higher level and standard level in each area. Please remember that your actual performing arts classes, if you want to be involved in choir or in productions company or stage crew or whatever, can actually count towards part of your IB requirements as the first year of a 2-year program, which means you could do higher level. So we have incorporated those things in there so that you can do them along with what you're doing. Now, additional opportunities. If you pull out the handout that has IB class preparation for AP tests, we believe in doing both AP and IB here at Hillcrest. And your IB classes can prepare you to take AP exams. You do not have to take an AP class to take an AP exam. You do have to take the IB class to take the IB assessments. But you don't have to take an AP class to take the AP exam. And so as you can see from this chart, it shows you how much you are prepared for an AP exam by taking the IB class. They're alphabetical according to the AP exam title. If it's only a percentage, if you let the teacher know at the beginning of the year that you want to take the AP exam as well, they will make sure you get the information and the curriculum that you need to be prepared to take that exam. Now why? Why do both? There's a high chance you're going to get credit for both at a university. Not every university, I can't guarantee that. It depends on the university you go to. The University of Utah, there's a high percentage of students that get credit for both their AP exam scores and their IB. Usually it's one that goes in the department and credit that will go on towards elective, which essentially still saves you time and money. So we highly encourage you to take the AP exams as well. Next year, all of you that are taking English will be prepared not only for finishing your first year of English, but you'll also be prepared to take the AP language and composition test. You'll also be prepared through your history course, the first year, History of the Americas, to take the AP US History test. And as you can see with other classes you may be registered for, it can show you what's there. So I would use this chart as you look and plan as to what you want to do to be ready to take these classes and to take these assessments and get as much bang out of the buck as you can. So those are the courses. Are there any questions I can answer about the courses that we offer here and how it works? Standard level, higher level, how it all, yes?
You mentioned that there was a test that would go onto their transcript.
The test that goes onto the transcript?
Right, that's graded. Now, is that their IB transcript or is that their regular transcript? Are they two of the same thing? Are they different?
What the A through F grade that they get in the class goes on their transcript. If you'll notice on the transcripts, Canyons District is moving towards including all of their external assessments. Their AP grades right now, for example, are on the transcript. And for 2 years it keeps me putting back on the back burner, but they also want to include their IB scores on the transcript as well. So they will eventually be there. Hopefully by the time you graduate, and whenever a university or anybody requests a high school transcript, your IB grades, international grades, will be on there as well. So, but if anytime you request IB to send an official transcript to them, it will include all of the grades as well. And your universities will require that. Yes, Mrs. Johnson.
So how does a 2-year, like a music or a theater track work?
Most of our students will take the first year of their performing class, if they're in choir, using that first year as IB music, orchestra, IB music. Then the second year, they probably, as long as we plan it right, and you take some exams your first year, you're going to be able to then look at having room to take both the performing class the next year and the IB academic class, which is the music theory class for music, the IB theater class for theater, and in dance, you're in luck because it's still your performing class. She just does it within the performing classes. So, yes?
I was told that American Sign Language is only a 2-year course here. Is that something that can be incorporated into the IB program?
Not yet. And I asked about this several years ago, and they are trying their best to see how they can incorporate it. The problem with ASL, American Sign Language, and incidentally, it's a 3-year program now here.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. The problem with ASL is that ASL is just American Sign Language.
Right.
British Sign Language is different. German Sign Language is different. All of these sign languages are different because they're based on the syntax. So they're trying to figure out how to make it work.
As a world sign language.
Right.
As a world language.
So they're still working on it. But they are very supportive of having that happen. Okay, good. We're going to go on to the full program so that you can understand some things about those. This shows the curriculum outlines for both the Diploma Program and the Career Program. We're going to look at the Diploma Program first. Every year I hope I cover everything in this meeting, and every year it gets done and I go home and I missed, use these handouts, okay? They will help you. First of all, in order to do the full Diploma Program, you must complete at least one course from each of those 6 areas that we just talked about. That's what this is here, the curriculum area. Now, before we go on, I want you to know something about Area 6. I'll remind you of something. Area 6 is the arts. Group 6 is the arts. Not every student wants to or is at the point to be able to take an art class for that. IB knows that, so they offer you the option of doing a course from the arts for Group 6 or substituting a second course from world languages. So those of you that are fluent in another language, that could help you. Group 3, another psychology, business management, art history, another science, or further mathematics. So any of those can substitute for the art class in Group 6. So that you understand that if you're doing the full program. Second, at least 3 of those courses must be done on the higher level. 2 years. No more than 4 can count towards your diploma on the higher level. 2 years. And you may choose to do them all higher level, but you've got to test at least 2 of them standard level. Because IB wants to try to make sure that you have a life outside of academics. Okay? So 3 or 4 on the higher level, the balance of 2 to 3 on the standard level, which can be done in either 1 or 2 years. You may complete up to 2 standard level courses during your junior year. So if you want to get 2 of these areas, 6 areas done and out of the way, and you are far enough along those tracks to be able to do so, you can choose to do so. That is an option for you next year. But no more than 2. So at least 4 of the classes, if you're doing the full diploma program, have to be done in your senior year. But up to 2. Now remember, the exception to those, you can't do ab initio in 1 year. You can't do English in 1 year. And you can't do history from Group 3 in 1 year. The other Group 3s you can, but not history. Doesn't mean we're requiring extra time from you in English and history, because all it is fulfilling your graduation requirements. You're not required to do it higher level because you're going to be in there both years. You can still test it on the standard level. The remainder of the courses are completed your senior year. Additional courses other than the 6 that you want to take, you can. They're called extra courses. So you can take more than those 6 courses if you want. The diploma is awarded based on the total of all your points of those 1 to 7 scores and successful completion of the diploma core with no failing conditions. Now this handout right here, and I apologize to you career program kids, I forgot to print up general regulations for the career program for you. But it is, I will get one to you. If you look quickly, on page 9, Article 13, it tells you exactly what failing conditions can take you out of being able to do a diploma. You have to finish CAS. You have to have 24 points or more. You cannot have an incomplete, that's an N in IB, in any course. There can be no failing grade, which in IB is an E, not an F, for theory of knowledge or extended essay. You have to pass both of those things. You can't get a 1 in any subject. You can't get any more than 2 2s in any. You have to have, there are no more than 3 3s, and so on. You can go through those. Those are the failing conditions. For your top 3 HLs, you have to have an average of 4 points. So for your top 3 HLs, you have to have at least 12 points or more that you've gotten. For 2 SLs, you have to have 6 points. For 3 HLs, you have to have at least 9 points. Anyway, that shows you, and it's a fairly simple system, but it shows you what the failing conditions are that you got to make sure that you do, that you avoid these roadblocks. Okay? So that's how you get the diploma.
Before you move on, may I ask a really quick question?
I may answer it later, but yes.
Ab initio?
From the beginning.
Thank you.
Ab initio means from the beginning. Okay, the core is in here. That includes your theory of knowledge class, that if you're doing the full program, you should have registered for the first semester next year, which is taught second semester of your junior year, and the second semester of TMK, which is taught first semester of your senior year. The extended essay and creativity, activity, and service. The theory of knowledge course, you're going to enjoy it. Just know it. There's only one internal assessment, a presentation, and one external assessment that go towards your grade there. It's an A to F grade that is put on your transcript. Okay, and there is no fee for that. The extended essay is run through the TOK class. If you follow our directions, you will start on that in February of next year. And you will have 9 to 12 months to work on it. If you follow the step-by-step process that we will give you, it will be a great experience. If you don't, it will be the opposite of a great experience. Fill in the word that works for you best. Okay? It will be. Either way, it can be a wonderful experience if you follow what we tell you to do, because it's something that's supposed to be what you enjoy and want to learn more about. There is no extra fee for that. In your packet, there is an example of the syllabus for this year. Did I put it on here? It says example on it. It kind of shows you how the crowd will work over the course of your 2 years. It will be different for you, but this is what this year's class is going through, so you have an example of what it is. CAS, Creativity, Activity, and Service Hours. Mrs. Kilby's going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Any questions about the diploma program? Great, yes.
This might be off topic, but how does this fit into like Regent scholarship type of? Are these classes accepted for them?
All these classes are accepted towards the Regent Scholarship. All of them are. The only thing that you really need to make sure of is that you take a math the 4th year, whether it be an IB math or an AP math or something else, and you need to make sure you hit all 3 sciences sometime in your high school years. Okay, the career program. We're going to talk about that right now. Hopefully this will help you understand. This is the model for that. The first thing, you must have a 2-year study in a career pathway that leads to certification of some sort. Now, this 2-year study are not IB courses. They are our CTE, our huge and strong CTE program that we have here. If you look on the back side of your class preparation for AP tests, which for some of you I would call front side, the IB career program, the different types of career pathways that you can choose from, that you've already met with Mrs. Taft and worked out. Some of you may have some IB courses that will be working towards this, your career pathway, but that's not the thrust of the career program. The career program is designed for you to get certified and endorsed in those careers. And so all of these, there are so many different career pathways you can choose from to be able to do this. Okay. Secondly, you must take 2 IB academic courses over the course of the 2 years, at least 2. They can be either standard level or higher level. Doesn't matter. And you can complete up to 1 of those courses your junior year. Now, why do they only let you do 1? Because they don't want you to complete both of your courses your junior year and not be doing any IB critical thinking classes your senior year. They want you to spread that over. The remainder can be covered your senior year. Up to 2 additional IB courses can be taken. Why do they limit you to 2? Because they want you doing enough in your career program to be certified and endorsed. That's what this is about. The career program endorsement is given when you complete all of the courses, certification in your career pathway, your scores for your 2 IB courses need to be at a 3 or better, and successful completion of the CP core. Now, what's the core? There are 4 elements to the career program core. Personal and professional skills class, again, 2 semesters, the reflective project, the service learning, and the language development. The personal and professional skills concentrates on professional and personal skills that you learn that will help you in the workplace, enhanced by critical thinking skills. It's those 2 same format for when you take the course over the 2 years is what it is for TOK. Your reflective project has to do with your career program and finding an ethical dilemma, researching that ethical dilemma in your career program and presenting it, analyzing and presenting it. But you do have, though, a choice of how you present. You can present as a paper, you can present as a PowerPoint, you can present as a short film, a play, a radio script, a recording, any type of thing like that, especially something that would relate to your career program. It's all about relating it to your career program, and it's run through the personal and professional skills course. The community service will be discussed by Mrs. Kilby in just a minute. Your language development, they still want some foreign language development from you. And essentially, it's a progression of at least 1 level from Spanish 0 to Spanish 1, or something from 1 level progressing that you show, and this does not have to be necessarily through class you take at school, but it is presented through a portfolio that you keep over the course of the 2 years that shows your development in the language, especially in the vocabulary of that language as it relates to your career program. So that's the language development. That's the core of the CP program. Any questions on the career programs? Good. Now we're going to go into Mrs. Oh, do I have one? Yes.
Is this a new program?
Yes, brand new. Brand new IB. This is the 2nd year. Brand new Hillcrest. This is our 1st year.
Okay, and if they have not done any preparation at this point to take the career path, is it out of scope for them? They can still complete it within the 2 years?
Yep. Talk to Mrs. Taft, who's the co-coordinator for the CP program. She's our CTV coordinator. And she will sit down and outline a 2-year course of study to get endorsements. Okay? Mrs. Kilby will now, you want me to push the button to? Sure. Okay. You need the microphone, yes.
Okay, can you hear me all right? Yeah? All right. Good. So CAS, I think it's really fun. I love this part of my job, and community service learning too. So both of them are important because do you remember when you were little and you went on field trips, like in elementary school? You probably remember that better than you remember the things that you learned from books. That's my guess. And that's why IB has you do learning through real life experience.
It's because you're in front of that speaker. Oh. So come this way a little bit.
Okay,
there you go.
Thanks. Okay, next. All right, so CAS stand for Creativity, Action, and Service. And CS and L stand for Community Service Learning. Sometimes you'll see it listed as just SL, which can be confusing because SL is also a standard level class, but just take it in context. Next. All right, so experiential learning, why do it? Because it's a lot of fun. I think that you'll have a great time. And if you see this, there's a diagram that IB's provided for us. First, you plan your activities. What I want you to do this summer and the rest of this school year is think and plan out your activities. The hours don't actually start counting until the first day of your junior year, and the reason for that is schools internationally do not have the same summer break that we have. And so to make it fair for everyone, we count from the first day of junior year on. So you're in the planning phase right now, and that's a lot of fun. In your folders, I have a form that has all the clubs available at the high school, maybe not all of them because new ones come up all the time, but many of our clubs that are available at the high school. And on the back side, you'll see some learning outcomes. Oh, gotta go back again, sorry.
Sorry, my fault.
So The learning outcomes on the back are what we want to, how we want to prove to IB that you fulfilled CAS, and we'll talk about that too. But, so you're in the planning phase right now. First day of your junior year, you can start acting. Then you're going to observe how you feel in those activities, and then you're going to reflect on them. And the reflections need to be done on a regular basis. They're kind of journal entries, or you can do them in a creative manner, like a video or whatever instead. IB really likes creativity. You don't always have to write. You write for your classes all the time. So this gives you an outlet. And then the benefits, you're going to find out that it's going to make you a well-rounded person. Your college application is going to look better because you have all of these activities. IB likes you to go deep. So if you don't know right now what you're interested in, that's okay. This is the time to be exploring and kind of try different clubs and figure out what you like. But if you get to the point where you drop some clubs and really focus deeper on 1 or 2 clubs, that's all right, because it's really showing what you're interested in and that you're becoming more serious about those. And that usually leads to a career path later. So next, please. All right. So you see that service, 150 hours. IB doesn't necessarily like the word hours. They like you to go by your reflections on your learning outcomes, but we still have you write a log of your hours to keep you honest, okay? And then all of these other words, you can go on expeditions, serve in the community, participate, experience things. Serving in the community, back to this one, is especially important for the career program. We're going to be serving one community organization very deeply in a project. So for CAS, you can count a lot of different service opportunities all over the place. For the career program, you're going to dig deep in with one of our community partners and just help them. So we'll talk about that more as you advance, but reflection's really important. Next. Okay, an outlet for you to enjoy life and apply what you've learned and benefit the community at the same time. That's going to become very important, especially the action part of it. You need to exercise to keep your brain healthy and to just release stress, right? That'll be very important as you get into your junior and senior year. And you'll have meaningful life experiences that hopefully you'll remember forever. Go ahead, Mrs. Johnston.
So I know in the past they used to start counting the beginning of the summer before their junior year, so that's changed now?
It has. I went to a conference and asked specifically about that, and only first day of junior year on. And they gave me that worldwide example for that.
A
So
lot of things that begin during the summer, a lot of the clubs or like the athletic teams.
yes, a lot of things will begin during the summer. If you're worried about that 150 hours, let me tell you, most of our students have 400 plus hours. They really go above and beyond.
And just
So-
because you start in the summer, if it continues on past that first day of junior year, you still can count those hours.
Right. So if you start a sport in June, you would start counting your hours August 20th or whenever school starts this next year. Okay, who am I? This is helping you figure out. And we talked about that diagram about planning, acting, observe, and reflect. So next. Okay, experiential learning, learning by doing, learning through emotion, working with others, having actual experiences, extending yourself. I read a reflection just today about one of our girls who's the most shy person on earth, and she had to work with an organization where she had to sell things to people for like a volunteer fundraiser type of deal, and it was a really difficult experience for her, but she talked about how much she grew from it. So she extended herself, and then learning by reflecting upon the experience too. So next. Okay, so the focus again, that diagram of plan, act, observe, and reflect. It'll happen outside the IB classroom, and that includes classes that you take at school that do not count toward IB. So if you're all worried about, oh, am I going to get my hours? Think about it. If you take a volleyball class, that counts for CAS. Woodworking class counts for CAS. Anything that's not IB related counts. So feel free to count those classes. It's not assessed traditionally. Students often assess their own progress through reflections, and I'll be able to tell from your reflection whether you grew enough in that area or not, and if not, we'll look for another way, but most students do just fine. It'll help you develop new skills, solve problems, be responsible, and be accountable. I think this is what makes you feel important, and I like that, because you need to feel important, because you are. Next. So, why participate? Cece, did you like your CAS?
I did.
She did. She's one of our seniors that graduated last year. And she was involved in our theater productions. And if you're not involved in that and you're thinking about it, a lot of people use that for CAS and they really, really like it. And she grew a lot. And I like to come support you in your CAS too and come to your productions and your concerts and things. Have a lot of fun with that. So watch the Facebook page. If you're not on our family's Facebook page, search under Hillcrest IB Families and just ask to join. I sent you an email link. And I post a lot of CAS on there when I visit these certain activities and just get people excited about it and reward students for their good work. So, any other questions about CAS? Go ahead.
If a student is in a class, a theater class, and they're required to participate in a production, can they use the production as CAS, or is that counted as the theater class?
Okay, so did everybody hear the question? Let's say it's IB theater class. At my conference, I asked specifically about this one because Hillcrest is so into theater, and I told them about our theater productions and how they're over the top. They're above and beyond what would normally be required for an IB class. And they said, yes, you can count those hours that are above and over the top. So if you feel like I've dedicated my life to this and you want to reflect on some of those experiences, as long as you gained a new skill, you had a new challenge, you worked collaboratively with others, if you can prove that to me through a reflection, either a video reflection of the production or writing about it, or somebody interviews you about it, something like that, just a reflection that shows that you grew from the experience, we can count it for CAS.
Essentially, if it's part of their grade for the class, for the IB class, it can't be counted. If it's something over and above, like they're required to be part of the production, but they're going to help build the set that's not part of the grade, then they count the building of the set part.
Okay, for those of you in the career program, your community service learning project is a little deeper. And you'll go in with one organization. An example that they use is if you're interested in horticulture, you're going to help plant a community garden somewhere, and you're going to take care of that community garden, and that's your one project. But you're going to spend a lot more hours than just 50 service hours on that. And so you dig deep and you work with our community partners. And Cher Burbank, who's in our work-based learning, she's sharing some of her partners with me. So if you don't have an organization to work with, we'll help find you one. So the benefits, hands-on learning is real, driven by involvement in authentic activities, not just reading about them. Provides a platform for students to apply their skills and talents to real-world issues, and that's a great one, especially in the career program. Leads students to self-confidence, direction, and ethical decision-making. Start thinking about ethics. That's one of the hardest topics when I interview students about CAS. And parents, you can help your students understand what ethics really is and how ethics might come up in a sporting event or working in a science lab or things like that. Serves to emphasize that there is more to life than academics, and promotes the reflective student, opens their eyes to new dimensions of the human environment. You remember at the very beginning, Dr. Bentley showed the learner profile video. It's all of those characteristics that we're developing through academic work, but also work outside the classroom in service, learning, and CAS. So service is a habit of heart. And just to get you a little bit motivated, I wanted to show you a video of a real life situation at another high school. So I hope you like it.
We end tonight with the football play of the month. It was executed with amazing precision by the Eagles, the Olivet Eagles. Steve Hartman has the play and the post-game analysis on the road.
Between classes, they schemed and conspired. For weeks, the football players here at Olivet Middle School in Olivet, Michigan, secretly planned their remarkable play.
Did anybody go, this is a crazy idea?
No, everyone was in on it.
But like the coaches didn't know anything about it. So we were like going behind their back.
I've just never heard of a team coming up with a plan to not score.
It's just like to make someone's day, make someone's week, just make them happy.
The play, which was 2 plays actually, happened at a home game earlier this month. The first part of their plan was to try to get as close to the goal line as possible without scoring, even if it meant taking a dive on the 1-yard line, which it did. The crowd was not happy. Quarterback Parker Smith.
But us kids knew, hey, we got this. This is our time. This is Keith's time.
Keith Orr is the little kid in the brown jacket. He's learning disabled, struggles with boundaries, but in the sweetest possible way. Because of his special nature, it's no surprise that Keith embraces his fellow football players.
Hug, Gabe.
What is surprising is how they have embraced him.
Hello.
We thought it'd be cool to do something for him.
Because we really wanted to prove that he was part of our team and he meant a lot to us.
Nothing can really explain getting a touchdown when you've never had one before.
Which brings us to part 2 of their play. If you didn't see Keith, it's because they were so protective of him. But he was in the middle of that rush.
And when you crossed the goal line, what was that like?
Awesome.
It was like, did he just score a touchdown?
Get your camera out.
I'm like, I can't.
Keith's parents, Carrie and Jim, almost missed the moment, but they got the significance.
Somebody's always going to have his back from now until the day he graduates.
She's right. When the football team decides you're cool, pretty much everyone follows suit. Today, Keith is a new kid. Although by no means was he the only one who was profoundly changed.
What was it like for you?
It was like once I saw him go in, I was smiling about here.
Wide receiver Justice Miller.
Like nothing could wipe that smile off my face.
Why did it affect you so much?
Because he's never been cool or popular, and he went from being pretty much a nobody to making everyone's day.
Justice admits the play wasn't his idea.
I would have not really thought about that.
He says it never crossed his mind to give Keith any glory.
Well, I kind of went from being somebody that mostly cared about myself and my friends to caring about everyone and trying to make everyone's day in everyone's life.
Which may just make that touchdown the most successful football play of all time. Steve Hartman on the road in Olivet, Michigan.
Pretty cool story. But it's using outside activities to help kids learn about themselves. Any questions that you have on the service, creativity, activity parts of the IB program? Okay. Just a few other things that I want to go through really quickly. These are the general rules and regulations that are on the handout that I gave to you. Not on the handout I gave to you, but on the disclosure statement. This disclosure must be completed and signed by each one of you and your parents before you start in the IB program. Class attendance is important. I'm going to go over it quickly. I want you to really understand it before you do. Deadlines are enforced when the student is absent. You can't miss a day because you're not ready. You haven't got the assignment done. It's still due that day. And missed assignments may be not allowed for you to go on, to be able to make it up unless it's a valid reason. Class deadlines are firm. A lot of you have been able to charm your teachers into extending deadlines because you're just so well and you're just so smart. No. Charming your way through school is okay? The deadlines are firm. The best piece of advice I can give you about that is start the assignment the day it's given, not the day it's due. Start it the day it's given. Okay? Generally, extra credit is not available in an IB course. Why? Do you ask your college professor for extra credit? Not just no, but however, they may allow you to redo things that you don't do well on and be able to have some sort of average score or whatever. So that's something that's between you and your teacher. Any classes that you are completing outside of Hillcrest, through Kane's Virtual High School, or through the University of Utah, or any of those things, have to be completed by the first day of your senior year. Okay? We instituted this when we were tired of kids, IB kids, who are our 4.0 students at Hillcrest, desperately trying to complete health online the night before graduation. No. If you're doing it online, it's either in If it's not finished by the first day of your senior year, your counselor will put it into your schedule for second semester. And I will not be able to register you as a diploma candidate or a career program candidate if it's over one of your IB courses that you need. Okay? Single year standard level course requirements. We're supposed to have about 150 hours in order for you to complete standard level. What we do have is 125 class hours. So in order to make this work so that you can do it in 1 year if you want to, you are required to complete an extra 30 hours over the course of the year of face-to-face time with your instructor. And these can be completed in various ways outlined by your instructor. In fact, these have always been in place. It's just that we're now making you log those in case there's any question from IB that you didn't get all the teaching hours that you need. Labs, rehearsals, performances, Canvas presentations, video presentations that you're supposed to watch. Anything that you and your teacher require of you to do to fulfill those 30 hours that can be done. They must be completed on this schedule of at least 9 hours by the end of quarter 1, 18 hours quarter 2, 27 hours quarter 3, and then all 30 by May. We want you, it helps you to be able, a lot of you will be doing your IAs, especially oral IAs outside of class. That counts towards that 30 hours. But a lot of your stuff will be done by the end of quarter 3, so that's why we have this schedule like this. Don't think this is going to be this huge extra burden on you. It's just putting in place what's already been there. You just need to keep the log of your hours and have your teacher initial. However they want you to log those hours, you log them and have them initialed that they're done. Okay? This will also ensure that you do everything that's necessary to prepare you for those exams. Okay? They probably are going to be a part of your grade. If you're not fulfilling the hours, we may pull you from the exam that year. Okay? And this is subject to a discretion by the teacher as to what you need. If you've already done AP Spanish this year, Mr. Olson may not require you to do the full 30 hours next year because you've done a lot of preparation before you even get there to that class. So it's between you and the teacher to best prepare you for that exam in 1 year. Internal assessments are required for all classes. External assessments are required for all. It's not like AP, where you can choose to pay the fee later if you want. If you're in the class, you pay the fee, you take the assessments. Okay? However, the fees are only applicable the year you finish the class. And we'll talk about that here in a second. The deadlines that are given by the teachers, you have to follow for all things, but especially for your internal and external assessments. If you don't turn it in the day it's due, even if you're deathly ill, 1 day after the due date, you're out 50% of the points. And then it goes down 5 days. After 5 days, if it's still not in, at the teacher's discretion, they can say, we're done. It doesn't get in. Okay? And in IB, you can't just say, well, then I'll take a 0 for that, and my other scores will average me up. No. For IB, as per IB requirements, you must turn something in for every single assessment in order to get a grade. Okay? In IB, if you don't turn in the internal assessments and we enter that you didn't turn in the internal assessments, and you get 7 on all the external assessments, good for you, you still get an M. For IB, you must turn in something for every single assessment in order to qualify to get the grade. Okay? And our IB teachers are treating that the same way. You have to turn at least 2 lab reports in to do your science grade. If you only get 1 done, your science teacher's probably going to then just count it as incomplete. Okay? Now you can get through to an end grade by doing retakes, which we'll touch on later. Extenuating circumstances will be dealt with by the teacher. If there are extenuating circumstances, there are things that you can do to work it out with the teacher. That's what I just talked about. IB fees paid for a class are non-refundable after the 15th of January. Even if you decide to not take the class and you withdraw from the class, you can't get a refund after the 15th of January. So any adjustments you want to do, and there always are, where kids say, you know what, I'm going to wait and take this test next year, and can I take this test this year instead? That's great, but those adjustments have to be done by the 15th of January if you want any type of refunds.
Can I just add something here? I have parents tell me a lot that they're surprised that IB fees are due so soon. I want you to keep 2 holidays in mind, Halloween and St. Patrick's Day. IB test fees are due near Halloween. AP fees are due near St. Patrick's Day. So that's kind of nice that it gives you 2 separate bits, but just prepare for next year if your student's testing, it'll be due at Halloween, okay?
Okay. Retake guidelines. In order to remedy an N and receive an IB International grade, the student will need to redo and submit all the IAs and EAs required in a later session. If you're not satisfied or didn't complete something your 11th grade year, you can retake the test or the exam your 12th grade year in May. And if you do that, you may be required to take the class again. Okay, so stay up on top of things and get things done if you want to do it in 1 year. If you're a graduating senior, you have the opportunity to do retakes your November after or May. IB allows you to participate in 3 examination sessions, up to 3 examination sessions to get all the points that you need to. So that can be May of 2016 for you guys, May of 2017, and 1 retake session, either November or May of the next year. Or it could be you're going to wait and do all 6 courses May of 2017. Then you could have 2 different retakes that you could participate in to get those points. Okay, and retakes are not just for N's, but if it's a score that's not low, it's too low for you, you want to get a better score, you can do a retake for it. And we can talk more about that as we go along in the program. Maintenance. All IB students. Any student may enroll in a course, an individual course with the proper prerequisites. You must maintain a C or better, not a C minus, a C or better to stay in the course. If you drop below a C at the quarter's end, you are put on probation, and then we deal with that as we go. That is, where did we come up with a C? That's the way it is in college. Only in college, it's not that it's just that you have to maintain a C. In college, if you get below a C, even a C minus, you don't get credit for the class. You have to retake the class. So again, it's a college standard that we're trying to help you understand and learn. Okay? Again, please read these in detail on the disclosure so that you know. In order to be registered as one of the full program candidates, all the above standards that we've talked about, staying up to date with all your deadlines, all the deadlines for IAs and EAs, career certification deadlines must be met, and your graduation requirements must be either in your schedule or completed by the first day of your senior year. By day 1. Okay? Health, lifetime fitness, financial literacy, you know those are all important according to the legislature classes that you have to take. Okay? Now, all of you have an introductory assignment that you have to do. If you'll pull that out, there's a small book that you're going to read called I Think, Therefore I Be by Alexander Zuev. It's available through the library. It's on reserve in the library. What does that mean? It's not in the stacks, in the bookcases. It's behind the desk. You go and say, I need this book. You learn, read and learn and take notes on Cornell note templates that you can get off of the IB site. And you have an assignment window schedule on there for each one of you. It tells you exactly, according to your last name, when you can check out the book. You have 6 days to get it read and do the assignment and get it in. It's a short little book. It's an easy read. But it's going to teach you a lot about the IB program and what it takes for you to be successful in the program. Okay? Questions before we go on to the last couple of areas? Yes?
They cannot check the book out, or they cannot get the book from some other source prior to the time?
You can get the book from some other source, but we only have a certain number of the books.
Okay.
We only have like 30 to 40 of the books, and this is giving about 22 to 25 of you a window
So if
of
they're
time.
at the end of the list, they can start ahead of time?
If you find another way to find the book, absolutely.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
One more question.
Mhm.
In the section where you said face-to-face, you talked about Canvas. Is Canvas considered face-to-face?
If your teacher counts that as face-to-face, it's considered face-to-face.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Any other questions at this point? Fees. Fees are also dealt in your first handout that we started with, the general information and fee schedule. This is important. It's an optional donation. We ask of every family if there's any way that you can budget it in the fall of $35 to $50. Why? Because we believe that no student should have to not participate due to financial hardship. So we have a financial aid program that students fill out applications, submit in the fall, anonymously evaluated by committee, and we're able to help these kids anywhere from 25 to 95% of their fees based on their need. We paid for over $9,000 of kids' IB fees last year through this fund. If every family did $35 to $50, we'd cover our entire budget. So far this year, we've only had about 25% of the families contribute. That's why we have to do fundraisers. So please, if you can plan for that for the next 2 years, it would be great. Incidentally, our next fundraiser is the day before the premiere date of The Avengers. Thursday, April 30th. The Avengers. Before opening night. Buy your tickets and come. Okay.
The Avengers.
Required IB fees only for the years that you take the assessments. Every year course that you're doing for 2 years, you don't have to pay the fee until the year you are going to take the assessments. First of all, there's a registration fee. For diploma and career candidates, it's one time for both years. Whether you pay it the first year or the second year, it's one time. Okay, but it is due the first year you start doing assessments. For course students, it's done you pay it each year you take the assessment. So if you finish some in 1 year, you pay it the first year. If you finish it, then you have to pay it again the second year. However, course students, I really encourage you on any courses that you're taking to highly consider going higher level on those courses. Because you're not doing a full program, your universities, most of them will only accept higher level scores, and they will only accept 5 or 6 or 7. If you're doing a full program, a lot of universities will take the full program into consideration. But if you're only doing individual courses, your SL courses at most universities won't count. So I would highly encourage you to wait anyway and take them your senior year and do it on a higher level. This year was $160. It goes up a little each year. There's no refund on the registration fee after November 15th. No refund. That's why we have you pay fees at the end of October. Okay? You'll hold that question until we get to the end as well. Class fees. They're only for the IB classes that are part of those 6 curriculum groups. In other words, TOK, there's no class fee. PPS, there's no class fee. Extended essay, there's no class fee. Any of those others, there's no. It's only for the 6 curriculum groups, and it's only paid once the year you finish. So if it's a 2-year course, you don't pay the course fee every year. You pay only the year you're going to finish. In 2015, it was $110 per class. There's no refund on these after the 15th of January. So if we need to make adjustments in your classes, we can do that, but there's no refund after the 15th of January. Okay? The career program. You need to remember, if you add up this IB fees are a lot less. But you need to remember that every one of your career pathways have individual fees for endorsement or certification based on the industry. Now, they're a lot less when you do it here through our CTE program than if you have to go take your Microsoft test after you've graduated. But that's not under our control. You just need to make sure you understand what those career program endorsement fees are from the very beginning so you can plan for those. Okay? Each year, the IB fees are due the last Friday school day. The last school day Friday in October. Okay? After I've met with you next fall, I will meet with all of you from September and October, usually after midterms, after you have an idea of how the classes are going and what you like, what you don't, what you may want to test that first year. When we have decided that, I enter those in, then you will, parents, at the end of somewhere in the last 2 weeks of October, you will get an accounting that will show exactly how much you owe for that year, if your child is tested that year. Okay? They all need to be finalized by the beginning of November. Again, because that registration fee is non-refundable. Afterwards, if you add a class, you're going to pay a $35 to $40 amendment fee. So if you drop a class before January 15th, you'll get the full refund. But if you add, you have to add with an amendment fee. No changes are allowed after the 10th of April. No changes at all. Okay? IB fee scholarships available for juniors and seniors to the parents group. The applications are available in September. You will get an email. Watch for it. Check your email always. As a tangent, always check your email. I communicate a lot by email to you. Check your email often. Okay? I'm extremely introverted. It's a lot easier for me to do it by email than to call each one of you individually, besides the time factor. Okay? Based on need, evaluated anonymously, and the application must be submitted each year. In other words, if you're approved for financial aid your junior year, you still need to re-app your senior year. Okay? Any question about the fees? Yes?
So the $110 is a class fee, and then there's an additional test?
No. That class fee and that registration fee, that's it. No additional test fees at all.
Unless you want to take
The AP is totally separate. Any other questions? Yes?
I also have one other question. For the students who are just going to be course students, the service learning and things like that, and then about essays, that doesn't apply to them. They just take the courses and
Courses are just courses. Course is a course is a course. Okay. Okay. Why should you do this? Why should you do this? After everything I've gone through. There's a research pamphlet in there. Did I answer your question from earlier? Yes. Okay, but I'm just going to go through some of these really quickly. Students rate themselves higher in academic engagement in high school that are IB students. The standards for IB align with the standards that your university are going to expect. Students who score 6 or 7 are most likely to receive an A in their class in college. Students earn higher grade point averages and graduate at higher rates than comparison groups in all income groups, those with IB diplomas, at statistically phenomenally higher rates. Performance in the diploma program is the best predictor of college performance. All these things I'm telling you are not coming out of, I'm not blowing smoke, okay? These are from studies done, non-IB and IB studies. This is not just hopeful facts. These are facts that are true. Acceptance rate to university is 22 percentage points higher than the general population for those who go through an IB program. These are huge. SAT scores average 150 points higher for IB students than for the general population. 15 percentage points higher for students enrolling in 4-year institutions of higher learning. Students enrolling in select universities and students enrolling in select research. There's a 15% higher chance you're going to make it to an Ivy League course than the person sitting next to you who is not in an IB program. Okay? 81% of students graduate from college within 6 years compared to 57% of the rest of the college population if you have an IB diploma. Why? Because you know what's expected of you before you get there. And you are not lost and floundering. Let me warn you, parents, this first quarter of their junior year, they are going to be walking around like, I don't get it. They will be going through what any of you went to college saw or went through called the freshman freakout. They will be going through that next year, the first quarter. Some of them even extended, but they did the same quarter. Once they get there, they then get the rhythm of what IB is doing and they get used to it. Why are they going through it now? Because they're being expected to think in a way that's different, the college model. Why is this a good thing? Because they're going through the freshman freakout now when they're living under your roof and you can pat them on the head, give them their favorite food and say, you're going to be fine. Okay? And they have teachers who know their names and will work with them. Rather than going through the freshman freakout when they're in a dorm in a party atmosphere where no one cares. and then they wash out of college. That's where the 81% to 57% figure comes into play. Okay? Universities want these kids because they know the investment that they're making in those kids, because every university makes an investment in the kid that they accept. They know they're going to finish. There's a higher, the return on their investment for IB kids is much higher than general population. So be prepared to help them next year. But if they get through that first little bit, and find the rhythm, they're going to be fine. Right, CC? Right, Amber? Yeah. Okay. Go. External, the essays have positive effect. This study by the Chicago Public Schools is phenomenal. I would encourage you to just look at the stuff on the research handout that's in there. These are inner city urban kids, and the way it changed their trajectory was amazing. Amazing. Inner city Chicago kids, where IB was put in their schools, and they went through the program. Never before in our work in Chicago have we seen coursework have an effect on college persistence. In fact, the fact that the IB program has an effect 2 years after the students graduate speaks to the kind of powerful impact the IB Diploma Program can have on students' trajectories. It's amazing. Now, you're not going to see studies that have to do with CP yet, because it's brand new. These are all of the schools that our students have been accepted to since 2010. Look fast, because there's 4 full slides of this. There's not a school, an Ivy League or a top-level school that you're not going to find on this list. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, BYU. It's harder to get into BYU now than ever before. And these are schools that our kids have been accepted to. Didn't necessarily mean they went there, because they were accepted to 4 or 5 different colleges, and then they were able to choose. So, these are not all kids that had 130 IQs or higher. These are not kids who it will help you. Credit awarded for 46 diploma students and 57 course and diploma students, an average of 23 hours just for their IB courses they were awarded at universities. That includes our Ivy League kids that didn't get any awarded because Ivy League doesn't award for any. 20 hours for all students, both course and diploma candidates. An average of 41 hours for all of their classes, with the AP tests that it prepared them as well for. 36 if they were just both diploma and course students. Still 36 as an average. Our records at universities here, I'm not going to tell you the universities because they change every year. 60 hours at one, 69 hours at another, 84 hours at a third school. The kid received. Time and money. Scholarships. And past time, I'm so sorry. 383 respondents, 25 million plus, an average of 66,000 per kid. That's all of our seniors, because they make them all do this survey before they leave. Some things that are going to help you. Our website is huge. It has a page on every single program that we've got, all the stuff. Please look at it. If your web browser isn't showing IB program at the bottom, or at the last, it's because it's being cut off. Reduce your browser size, or increase this, and you'll see IB program. You click on it, all of these things are available for you. All of the handouts from this particular presentation, as well as recordings of everything else, I put them all on here. The Cornell note-taking templates that you need for your assignments are right there. This is on the handouts and presentations page. Click on any of these. All of these that you've got in your packet are available here. Those of you who are listening to the recording, they're available. We also have a password-protected documents site that includes over 100 different examples of top extended essays from all over the world, and all past exams, papers, and mark schemes, rubrics, used to grade IB exams since about 2011, legally. IB is very transparent. They will let you look at any of this stuff. And we've bought the DVDs and are allowed to put it on our network so that you can access it, so that you can be as prepared as possible. IB courses will prepare you better for college than any other program that's out there. There's no program that will prepare you better for college than an IB program, and that's proved by research. IB Diploma is designed to prepare you for college and university studies in the very best way possible. For 45 years, that's been their goal, and it still continues to be the goal. The career program is designed to prepare you for employment, apprenticeship, further technical training, and university training in your pathway. This will be an educational, informative instruction and can be a lot of fun if you choose to make it that way. Okay? It is your choice. I'm here to help you. Mrs. Kilby's here to help you. Our whole job is to help you through this program any way we can. The faculty will help you, working with you one-on-one if needed. Remember that late start program. School does not start at 7:55 here. School starts at 7. You can choose to wait to come at 7:55, but your teachers are there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7 to 7:50 every day to work with you individually. And they will work with you. In class, it may seem that their whole goal is to make your life miserable. It's not. Their goal is for you to succeed, and they will do everything they can to make that happen. We also, our seniors, tutor other people in the program. If you're having trouble in the class, come see me. 2 clicks of the mouse on my computer database, I can pull up a whole list of seniors who are willing to help you if you're having a rough spot in your class. And why is it a whole list? You find the one whose schedule works with you, and they will help you. They will help you. Our mission is to help you succeed. That's what we're here for. So, welcome to the program. We're grateful to have you here. Thank you for coming tonight.
The International Baccalaureate means to me my studies, my education. I personally think it's a program that's going to prepare me best for university and eventually a successful future.
Learning about things that will make you a more rounded person.
I guess a breadth of learning, so learning math, science, the humanities, maybe the arts.
Otro tipo de exigencia, la verdad. Porque, por ejemplo, en las pruebas uno estaba acostumbrado a que te preguntaran lo mismo que te habían enseñado. Y en esto te pasan las herramientas básicamente, pero después tú en las pruebas tienes que aprender a cómo usarlas.
It pushes a holistic vision of education, one that emphasizes the student as an interpreter rather than as a recipient.
And what it allows us to do as professionals working in this area is actually help our students to become international citizens really through an academic program.
The most enjoyable part of the International Baccalaureate for me, I think it's just the challenge.
Como una oportunidad de como abrir fronteras, por así decirlo, y es más que nada un reto y vivir como experiencias distintas a las que comúnmente se vive acá en el colegio.
I think it's important for the program to have so many different elements, like the theory of knowledge, the creative action and service, and the extended essays, because it actually really helps the students at the university level. By being creative in different formats, they can lend different skills to different subjects.
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited about the extended essay. I'm going to do mine on Shakespeare.
You choose any subject you want. It can be in any of the International Baccalaureate subjects.
The extended essay promotes a very high level of research. It's a intellectual discovery and creativity, and gives a person an opportunity to write on a topic that he wants or he's interested in.
This extended essay is a mini thesis. It's a doctorate, but at the level of these children.
There
Theory of knowledge is a course based around the question of how do we know.
It's designed to make you a critical thinker, so you don't just accept facts or things necessarily the way they're presented to you. Think about it more.
Es muy distinto y es una de las pocas materias que en otros colegios no se imparte y es una de las cosas como especiales que tiene el diploma.
The IB, more than any course I've ever come into contact with, demands personal responses, requires students to unpackage things. That for me is why theory of knowledge is at the center. It's a constant questioning of the syllabus all around in all subject areas.
For me, Creativity Action Service is a program which is meant to prepare you more for your university, not just studying and being quite selfish in yourself.
And so you're not only focusing on your grades, you're also focusing on your creativity. Like there are some activities such as photography. You're also working on your action, your sportsmanship, teamwork, and service, I think, is one of the most important things.
It made me grow up in ways I couldn't imagine. Like from helping the disabled riding ponies, or from coming to school and playing soccer every Saturday. It really has made me a better person.
I think the service helps you get in touch with the society, get in touch with those who need it, those who aren't as privileged as us.
Y que a pesar de ser un elemento obligatorio, me ha abierto muchas puertas a entender lo que es la entrega social.
Involves you giving to the community and not, doing it for your own benefit.
Y es parte fundamental del diploma, luego que te incentiva a crecer como persona íntegra.
I mean, this is what school's about. It's about learning to be with different people from different cultures. And I think the IB really shows you that this is what you should be doing as a child.
So it's taught me to be disciplined, but it's also taught me about myself and how I can accomplish everything that I think I would like to do.
I enjoy it because it's rigorous and I know I'm getting a good education, but at the same time it allows, especially the Creativity, Action and Service program, allows for you to have a learning outside the classroom. It really encourages you to become a rounded person.
You get all this work, you get all these challenges, and then it sort of ends up being fun just working your way through it.
Many universities are realizing the value of IB and IB students. They find them well-rounded. They find scope, they find depth, they find skills, they find leadership, they find confident students. So they'd like these students to come and join them.
I feel very lucky to be in this program, and that at the end of these 2 years I want to have something that's going to open so many doors, and I want to have a lot of opportunities.
Now the world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We expect our students to travel everywhere in the world, when they actually start working professionally. And I think that the IB is preparing them for the future they're going to have.